Hi, welcome to the video presentation of my final project that I made on a course that I was called Advanced Programming. In this course, they ask us to build a full stack web forms application using a TCP listener to transfer the data and also using sockets. So I'm going to explain most of this video is going to be a little bit technical because this is mainly a backend application, but as you can see, it has kind of like a UI, so it is considered a full stack application. But the reason that I wanted to incorporate this application into my portfolio is mainly of the backend side. So I'm going to start explaining how it works, and then I'm going to show the functionalities. So let's go. So for the server side, we're going to click this button right here to explain how it works. First, once we click that button, it's going to create a TCP listener at a local IP address and using a local port. Then we're going to do a TCP listener start to start listening to the clients. And this over here is the most important function. Why is the most important? Because it's the one is going to do one thing or another depending on the method. All of these switch cases are the methods that the client can do to interact with our backend. So for example, if we do obtain plates, we're going to create a socket that is a dynamic socket, as you can see right here. The entity is dynamic, so you can put a integer, you can put a string, doesn't matter. It's going to accept the data and it's going to deserialize the data and it's going to pass in the method to our backend so my database knows exactly what type of data the client wants. So to see it a little bit better, we're going to check this function right here. This function is the one that have the deserialized object inside of it, and it's going to pass in also the entity. So if we go to this function is going to pass in the entity and is going to call for this object. We're going to create an instance of Lógica Conexión that means the connection logic for the database. So once we create this instance, we now can call the function to get all the plates from the backend. So if we see this name right here, consultar platos, now we can go to our Lógica Conexión. As you can see, consultar platos is going to create a list with the ID of the restaurant, the ID of the plate, and the date that the plate was created. I'm going to pass in all of this data into a list. So as you can see, we return the list of the plates, and this list is going to be sent to the client using this socket right here, using this function and sending it as a serialized object using a JSON convert. So we're going to JSON convert serialized object the list of plates that our SQL server sent us. So this is basically how the entire server works. It's going to do something depending on the method that the client sent. So depending on one of each of these cases, is going to ask for some for different information at the SQL database, and we're going to send them as a serialized object, but first we need to get the list of items. So if it is a list of plates, it is a list of extras, list of restaurants, we get it from the database and then we send it as a serialized object. Now we can go to our client and see how we ask for the different methods. So we start we start creating a list, and then we're going to use our same IP address or same port that we initiate in the backend. So we use a TCP client that is going to allow us to create a client stream writer and a client stream reader. And with these functions right here, now we create a new instance of a socket. The socket is really important to be to have the exact same structure that our socket server has. So it needs a dynamic entity and it's a method. So when we were going to pass in the method obtener platos, and we're going to pass in as the entity the ID of the restaurant, and then we're going to serialize the object and send them to our server. Because if we remember how our server works, obtener platos is going to deserialize the object that our client sent us. So here we deserialize it, and then we call the function that is the one that connects with our database and get the list of items, and then we send them to the clients, serializing it again. Okay, so this is a little simple example of how the entire project works. So once we understand it, now we can pass to try the application and see the functionalities. To be able to see what this project can do, we need to open two windows. This is the server side window, this is the client side window. The client can only make orders, and the server is the one that is going to register the clients, register the restaurants, the plates, and all of that information. But the client can only make orders using the data that already exists on our server. So to start using this, we need to create a client. Well, first we have to turn on our server, because if we try to do, I don't know, something and the server is not turned on, it's going to say that the server is not active. So we start turning on our server, and we're going to register a client. So we're going to click here, register a client. We're going to say the ID is going to be 100. The name, I don't know, let's use Rodrigo. Now, primer apellido, first name, this is the last name right here. This one right here. This is the date of birth. Doesn't really matter. You can just, I don't know, put, for example, from 2000, 2009, 2006, November, November 17, and then you say it's a male. All right. So once we put our client, now we can check the clients that our database has, and we can see we have all of these clients. In our case, we're going to use Rodrigo, so we need to memorize this ID 100. All right, so we close our server side or server menu, and now we type here, we connect first using our ID, and now we can access to this window. There is the one that is going to allow us to make some orders. So we're going to select the restaurant. In this case, this restaurant doesn't have any plates, so we're going to select this other restaurant. And as you can see, we have one plate and one and two extras. I'm going to leave it with this extra, and here we can check the list of extras, and here we can check the list of plates that the restaurant Doña Teresa has. So for the moment, we only have gallo pinto, and we're going to use this plate and these extras. In this window right here, we can see the price of the extras, the price of the plate, and it's going to let us know what is the final price. So we click here to make the order. It's going to say that the order was successful, and if we want to check our orders with this client specifically, we can press see my orders, and we can check the ID, the play that we ordered, the ID of the client, and the date that the order was made. So this is the entire application. This is the client side to make orders, and this is the server side that allows us to register the restaurants, the plates, the clients, and all the different information that we need. So I hope that this was a really useful video to understand this project.